everyone. Today we got to play Dice Miner. So this was actually a birthday gift to Randy that my brother or my mother got you. And so anyway, so we're going to talk about it. We got it out. It's recently released. But before we give you more details about this, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and don't forget to wish Randy a happy birthday. So let's get into it. Tell us more about this game.
This game is called Dice Miner. It was released by Atlas Games, like you said, 2021 release. It has a 7.6 rating on Board Game Geek, a rank of 5,512. It's a 1 to 4 players, and it's a very simple game. It lasts 20 to 30 minutes. Definitely a beginner level game. Age 10 and up. Designer were Joshua Debonis and Nicola Risteski. Artists were Lil Chan and Gregor Pedris. And MSRP is, I think, $29.99. You can find it probably around $21, $22 elsewhere.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about quality of pieces. So you have this really cool mountain dice holder thing that gives this great little visual effect, the fact that you're mining. The dice themselves, though, I feel like I'm fine with the black. I'm fine with the pretty blue ones. But the other colors...
Yeah, they're pretty basic. First of all, they don't feel heavy. They're very light.
They are very light.
And they definitely are squared off. There's slight rounding of the edges, but very little. I mean, they're not the best dice in the world.
Well, I mean, my thing is even color, like visual color. Like, we're mining game. Like, they should have done like a sapphire. Yeah, like they could have done such a cool things with the colors to bring in. I guess this will go more towards theme, but it's pretty standard. Now, I do think the role players are thick, good quality.
Well,
I think are fine.
The cardboard is the kind of stock you see when you get a Kickstarter.
But this is like pretty thick, and it has a coating.
Yeah, shiny coating. These are not great cardboard. They're okay. Yeah, I don't care for that kind.
And then they actually have they have plenty of room for the score pad.
Yeah. I like the way the design of this, except for the fact that it won't fit in the box once you put it together. So that means you're going to have to disassemble it, or at least take the stand off to get it into the box, which means it's going to be more wear and tear on it. So they should have made the box where it could have fit it after you assembled it and not had to take it apart. That's my big grievance with it. But other than that, it looks really cool. Stocking it is a little bit of a problem because you either have to try to dump it, which means dice are going to go flying everywhere when you're trying to pour it out of the bag, or you're going to reach in and scoop it out and put it in there, which is what I ended up doing. But then you can kind of feel the texture of the dice, so you could potentially cheat. It's not quite fair.
Yeah, it almost is like there should have been like a dice tower.
Yeah.
That you could just
some way,
roll in.
to get them on there.
But I mean, it is a pretty straightforward game, and hopefully you can trust people a little bit more than that.
I mean, I try not to worry about what I was grabbing. I just grabbed stuff.
Yeah.
But you could definitely feel the texture when you were grabbing them.
Yeah, well, I mean, so let's talk about then. So giving it a score for quality of pieces, what would you give it?
I'm probably at about a 6, maybe a 6.5 at the highest. If it had nicer dice and nicer cardboard, it does have a good bag.
That's pretty hefty bag.
It's got a print on the front. It's
it's
not stitched though. It's just.
I'm with you on the 6.5. I think there's a few really cool pieces. I think there's a lot of opportunity. And I guess we'll talk about that thing because I guess it's more of a theme grievance. Theme-wise, though, I mean, you basically get to pick a different player ability of like engineer or prospector, and you're going to go mining and into the mountain, depending on you have special abilities or special starting resources. I think it's actually a pretty cool theme. I'm kind of excited about it, like, in the fact that I'm going to go mining. My thing is, you get dissociated with the theme because these white dice, what the heck were these supposed to be? Why not have them like clear to be diamonds? Why not have these be like an emerald color, like the see-through emerald? I was fine with those because those seem more like sapphire, like cloudy. Like, why didn't we go with gem color?
Yeah, there definitely could have been better color choices and better design for the dice. I agree with you.
I think
I
it
mean,
pulls away from
especially
the
because I
theme.
mean, when you look at the spell ones, they actually are nicer. The spell ones, I mean, these are just standard black, but the black with the orange actually does.
I was
stand
fine
out.
with that, but I was fine with those because those are obstacles.
Yeah.
So I was fine with these, and I was fine with those. But the other three main colors, I was just like, "What were you thinking?"
Yeah, they're not very good.
They
choices.
went cheap. They just went whatever.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest grievance is I feel like the characters are unbalanced.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, when we chose the characters after we filled them out.
I agree with you, actually.
The shield and the pickaxe, the engineer and dragon slayer characters.
Well, prospector.
And prospector, yeah, have a distinct advantage.
Why didn't one of the other ones have a different shield and a different ability?
Yeah, it seems like that there's an imbalance in the different ways of scoring.
I never would have wanted Alchemist. That would have been awful.
Yeah, I feel like these are imbalanced as far as their abilities. But we've only played it, one time, so we really can't.
Yeah, well, in the first round, I didn't know what I was doing, and so I was trying to
But I definitely felt like I was dominating because of the fact that those.
You automatically had a shield, so you were fine drafting
any dragons, because that's a huge scoring potential from those.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like, but going back to theme, like that's more gameplay related. The game components.
Well, I like the fact that it's dwarves and you're mining. I mean, that makes sense, obviously. But apart from that, the dice don't really feel like they have any fit with the theme at all.
I know. It really disassociates me from the theme, which I'm really bummed about because you had these dwarves, you're going mining. If these would have been cool, I'd have been all about it. And they got really good table presence as far as the mountain. Just go that step further. Heck, I'll pay another $5 on the game, whatever. It's not that expensive anyway. So why they couldn't do that, I don't know. So for me, for theme, I can't give it more than a 6 just because
that's where I'm at on it as a 6. I don't think it's anything outstanding as far as theme, and it doesn't. I mean, there's a little bit of story, but it's basically the story of the Hobbit. It's nothing real exciting. It's these dwarves lived in mountains and they mined, and then after they defeated the dragons, they kind of came out of the mine, and then the dragons came back and they had to learn to mine again. Basically, that's it. That's the story.
Odd.
Yeah.
That was kind of odd. So moving on to rules. So the rules.
Well, that's the solo play.
Oh, that's solo play.
It's not much more. It's 8 pages with one of those pages.
It's really straightforward game, right?
Yeah, well, it's very simple, but the rules are extremely drab. I mean, every page is very, very basic.
Dry.
Yeah, there's not a lot of imagery. There is some, but not a lot.
You don't really need a lot for this.
You don't need it, though. And as a matter of fact, there's examples of how to do math on the scoring.
Well, that's good.
Well, if you don't have any mathematic experience in how to add numbers.
Well, this is 10+.
Okay, I'll give it to you. It just felt like you didn't need 20 examples on how to add 1 + 2 + 3. It was very overdone, in my opinion. So yeah, they literally for the white dice went through the scoring 1, 2, 3.
Well, but it's
4, 5, 6 times as far as how to score it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is 10 and up, so maybe some of the younger kiddos could do practicing math with this game.
So yeah, I think the rules on this could have really been done probably on almost one sheet. They were that simple, but it's I guess better for them to give examples for people who might struggle with different things. But yeah.
So give it a score though.
I'll give it a 7. I mean, it's fine. It does its job. It's not pretty. It's not elegant. It
didn't have a cheat sheet. It didn't need one. You just draft some dice. Okay. End of scoring would have been nice, I guess, because I didn't know what I was drafting the first round until.
Yeah, I guess a scoring cheat sheet might have been nice to have, so you could have it in front of you to know what you're going for.
Yeah, I think, but even then, it's not that complicated. Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on to gameplay. You a little bit touched about this, that the player roles are a little unbalanced, and I would actually probably agree with you on that one. Knowing the way the multiplier works for the shield and the dragons, and then the pickaxes with the boulders, I think those are pretty substantial.
Yeah.
That one was pretty brutal.
I think the engineer is going to be uber powerful because you got not only do you have the pick, but you also have a force 2 in there.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to probably grab next round.
So basically, I mean, the first part of the game is just drafting. You're purely drafting dice out of the mountain. And then you're going to, if you have any beer dice, either from previous rounds or from the draft that you get, you can roll this die, give it to your opponent to draft 2 dice instead of 1. And you can draft them. Normally you have to take from the top down. You can't take anything underneath. But if you use the beer, you can draft
along the walls.
The outside.
So kind of going into it though, so whoever's first player gets the second person to choose their character, and then they go to pick up.
Well, not second, depends on player count.
Well, depending on player count, they go last. But again, you say you draft 1 die, like this one has 3 gems. That's actually a pretty good one. So I would draft this one, and I would take it. And then it would be, so the choices that he would actually have here, he could only take the 3 or the 5 because they are the top of the mountain. Unless he handed me a beer token.
Well, I would roll it.
You would roll it to me. Oh, look, I got a 4 now, so that goes in my pile. It belongs to me. But then now he's going to draft 2.
I can take 2 from any exterior side that's exposed. So now I could take 1 in the middle here. So I could take the spell, or I'm going to take these boulders.
Because he has some pickaxes maybe over there.
And then there's I'll take a 1 over here because maybe I need the 1. So
then, you keep drafting until all these are gone, and then you do a scoring run. So
well, before that, you do the spell round. So spells are these aqua-colored dice. For however many circles that are pictured there, if you spend a die, whatever circles are on there, you have to roll that many dice again. Which is good because some of these things don't score. So
your beers don't
score during scoring round. If you have, you cannot re-roll your monsters. These guys can't be rolled. But they normally count negative score towards you during scoring. But if you have a shield, all the dragons become positive. And if you have multiple shields, it's a multiplier times positive for how many you score for those. The pickaxes do a similar thing for the boulders. So the boulders is a cave-in, and if you have pickaxe, it makes the negative effect of that become a positive.
So we talked about that scoring, and then the gems, each of the gems pictured are 1 victory point each, unless you have the most gems, and then it doubles. And then the other piece of it is the numbering system. So you're collecting sets of the numbers, and you're going to go 1 through 5. You have to have a 1 to start the sequence, and you have to do it in a row. So if you had 1, 2, 3, and 5, you would only count 1 to 3. And so those are the 3 different things that you end up scoring. But then there is a special ability on your greedy dice which have locked chests. So these chests, so this one has, for example, 3 of them on there. So out of all my dice, I can choose to save 3, and I could be like, well, I'll just keep my shield, I'll keep my pickaxe, and maybe I'll keep the 3 gem that I rolled, because that was actually pretty good. So those actually get saved in the next round. And then I take the rest of my dice, along with that one, and I re-roll them. And then that will be part of the next selection. So in the end, you actually have quite a bit of dice for your third and last round, because you essentially draft 3 times, and you keep all of those dice as you go forward. I actually really, really like that mechanic. I was actually kind of excited as I played it. I really, really like that, because you're drafting dice and you don't just use them once. You've used them 3 times, even though you've re-rolled them.
Well, that's why the chests became really valuable, because and that was the chests actually are what broke it for me, because if you having just like 1 shield or 1 pickaxe is not that big of a deal, but when you have when you roll the chests and you can store your pickaxes and your shields till the next round, you're basically guaranteeing yourself a high score for the next round for that category.
Well, I mean, but there's not a lot of block boxes either, so I don't think it was that bad. If they had taken them away, though, I don't necessarily know if I'd complain either.
Yeah.
But they're okay. They're all right. But because they don't score
They don't score, but you're
so
re-rolling
you are losing
it.
Yeah, well, in the second round, but then, but you're still using up the dice that round.
Yeah,
and
they
not
don't
getting
score
victory.
for that round. I agree, but I mean, I netted 41 points out of the dragons and the.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about how bad you
boulders.
beat me.
So I mean, it seemed like that was super powerful. Now,
well,
again,
and then the first round I didn't know what I
the
was
white
doing.
sequences can be good too because you can, if you get a bunch of
But
like you
still,
got
I didn't
51 points out of that category.
But I still didn't even come close to you.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I felt like the boulder dragon strategy
the
was
first round
way better.
My butt.
And given the fact that if you don't go for that strategy, you're basically going to avoid the dragons and the boulders because they will be a net negative to you. So if you don't get shields and pickaxes, you're basically, and you're playing 2-player, you're basically guaranteeing the other opponent is going to get them.
Yeah, I think you have to go in going, all right, I'm going to take boulders, or I'm going to take those things. Like, I'm going to try to make sure I get green dice, get black dice. You have to fight for them.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you kept getting the most gems, and that doubles all the time, and so that was really rough.
Yeah, but the most I got out of those 14 points. It's not like it was the high scorer for me.
Yeah. No. It wasn't the high scorer, but in comparison, like the number sequencing was kind of difficult. So I actually kind of really liked this game. I thought that there was a couple of cool mechanisms in here that I appreciated. I just really wish I could have been more involved in the theme. For a 30-minute, because this is just a 30-minute game, I thought it was actually pretty great. So, giving it a score, trying to discount my theme problem with it, I'm actually going to give this a 7. I really liked it. I thought it was cute. I would definitely play this again. I definitely want to teach people how to play this. I can see why it's gotten pretty decent reviews.
Yeah, I'm more of a 6 on it. I'm not even sure if 6 is quite right. It may be 5.5. I don't like filler games, really. I mean, I like longer, more advanced strategy games.
I'm doing this caveat.
Yeah,
it is a filler game.
It's definitely a filler game. But if, for a filler game, that's why I think I'll maybe give it a 6. It's not, I don't think it's great. I still have a problem with these, giving you those, to me, the imbalance it feels like for these. I like the sequence dice. That I like the fact that there's diverse ways of scoring. I just feel like they're not even.
Yeah, they're not balanced.
Yeah, so having, I don't think you could set a strategy of scoring with the gold dice.
Honestly, I wish it was for every dragon you had to have a shield. Like
that
for
probably would have been better.
Every shield dice and one dragon. Like you had to have, if you had a dragon die, you had to have a shield, and that's what triggered. I mean, you could still do the multiplier, but you had to equal it out versus one shield could take care of all those dragons. Yeah. That didn't make sense to me thematically as well as gameplay wise because all you needed was one.
Yeah.
And so that one I think would have been better if they had equaled it out.
It felt like the dragon and boulders were definitely unbalanced compared to the rest of it.
But I do think if that had been the case, I think it would have been a lot more evened out.
Mm-hmm. But they would have needed a lot more green dice.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, I mean, all in all, it's good for a quick game. If you like, dice rolling, it's a nice dice rolling, dice drafting game, but it's not a lot to it. So. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast. We'll hope to catch you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.